What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best NBA player props on Prizepicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 21 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. Now a lot of you comment wanting to see how many I got wrong, and I thought I'd show you in today's video. So we only got 2 picks wrong and got 21 right, which is a 95% win rate. Yes guys, you heard that right, 95% win rate. So we're on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get a 95% win rate and get 21 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon. Should be a link down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $500 just yesterday. Another member who won $99 for the 7th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members here, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. So I want to give a quick shout out to the comments of the day who commented on my last video. So shouts out to BCT Barani Prasad. So hopefully I said that right. So shouts out to him for saying come back stronger. And also shouts out to Antoine Bennett who also commented let's get it. So guys, if you do want to be in the running to get a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like this video, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. Okay, so let's get straight into the first pick. And when it comes to these picks, I'm not saying to chuck all of them into a parlay and hope for the best. Pick and choose the ones that you like and the ones that work best for you. So the first pick we're going to talk about is none other than Giannis Antetokounmpo, and this one is a great one for 7.5 assists, and this one is for less. Now we look at Giannis Antetokounmpo, we've actually seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games, which is interesting to see here. Now they do face off against the Golden State Warriors in this next matchup, but when we look at Giannis, we actually have seen him go on the under in 3 out of the last 5. They faced off against Cleveland on March 10, he only had 3 assists there. Then faced off on March 12th against the Indiana Pacers where he had 7 assists, so also under on this line. After that, faced off against the Lakers on March 14 where he had 9 assists. Then back to Indiana Pacers, facing off again and got 7 assists again in that one. And then Oklahoma City Thunder to finish it off with 10 assists in that one. So when we look at Giannis, he has gone on the under more than he has gone on the over, so that's a really telltale sign for us there. But on top of that, when we also look at his average over the last 5, he's only averaged 7.2. So under this line, which is great to see. And like we mentioned before, they do face off against the Golden State Warriors in this next matchup. Now, when we look at the Golden State Warriors, we definitely see a very interesting story, as the Golden State Warriors do rank 12th when it comes to assists allowed. So they rank in the higher tier when it comes to restricting assists, and we definitely see that affecting Giannis's game. On top of that, the Golden State Warriors also do a fantastic job at restricting assists to the forward position, and that is a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. We definitely see someone like Giannis going on the under due to these reasons, because when we look on a per position basis, we see that Warriors do a fantastic job against forwards, so we definitely see that affecting this game here. When we also look at the pace of this game, we are expecting a normal and a similar amount of pace than we usually see from Milwaukee Bucks. Warriors are a little bit faster paced, but what we are expecting is Milwaukee to actually come and actually slow down the Warriors and go down to their place. So, you know, we definitely see that being a huge thing coming into this game. Now, when we look at both of these teams, we do see that the Milwaukee Bucks currently rank 4th in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 38-29. They haven't actually clinched a playoff spot just yet, so they are continuing to push for that playoff spot. But when we look at the Golden State Warriors, we also see a very similar story. They rank actually 6th when it comes to the Western Conference, which is interesting to see there. And on top of that, they have a record of 39-29. So interesting in that sense, due to the fact that both of these teams are going to continue to push to try to make a playoff run. So we definitely see that having a huge effect here. So for that reason, we do very much like the under. Now, when we look at Giannis as well, we have seen Giannis, you know, actually not face off against the Warriors yet this season. So, you know, it is a bit different. Now, obviously, this is looking at last season. Now, he did get 5 assists, 6 assists. So, yeah, that's probably the last time he did actually play them. He did go actually under on both of those lines. Like, I know this is a different team. Like, this Warriors now have Jimmy Butler and a couple of different players, and so is the Milwaukee Bucks. But I thought I'd still show those stats. He still went under in both of those games last time he faced off against the Warriors. And unfortunately, the last time he did play him was actually in last season. But I definitely still think it is, remnant of what is about to happen in this game, or what we think is going to happen, due to the fact that when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies also have him favored for the under as well. So for that reason, we are sticking to the under for Giannis. So Giannis Antetokounmpo, 7.5 assists for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than a great player, and that is Derek White. So Derek White, great player for the Boston Celtics, and this one is a points, sort of line for 18.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now we look at Derek White. We've actually seen him go on the under in 4 out of the last 5 games, which is interesting to see. And they do face off against none other than the Brooklyn Nets coming into this next matchup. So when we look at the last 5 games, we see that they faced off against Philadelphia on actually March 7th, and he only had 12 points in that game. Then faced off against the LA Lakers on March 9th, where he only had 10 points. Moving on from that, March 11th, faced off against Utah Jazz, where he had 18 points. Then March 13th, Oklahoma City Thunder, and he actually scored 22 points, and then 18 points again against Miami on March 15th. So very interesting stat line there. We have seen him, majority go on the under compared to the over, and that's why his average over the last 5 is also 16. So significantly below this line. Now, when we actually look at someone like Derek White, we see that they face off against the Brooklyn Nets. So the Brooklyn Nets, interesting kind of lineup due to the fact that when we look at both of these teams, they're definitely on the different side of the conference, because when we look at Boston Celtics, they do rank second in the Eastern Conference. They actually have clinched the playoffs and have a 49-19 record. Now, still staying in the Eastern Conference, Brooklyn Nets on the other side of the table do rank 12th. So they are currently outside or out of the playoff contention with a record of 23-45. And it does look like they are looking to continue to tank to try to get a high draft pick coming into this next, season coming up. So for that reason, we definitely see a very different strategy for Brooklyn Nets. But we still do think Brooklyn Nets are going to do well, because the Brooklyn Nets do actually rank 9th when it comes to points allowed. So we definitely see that being a big thing coming into this game. On top of that, when we look at someone like Derek White, a big reason why we do like the under for this situation is that Brooklyn Nets are looking to tank. Boston have already clinched the playoffs and are probably going to try to, actually rest their starters as much as possible. And we could see Derek White get taken off early and Brooklyn Nets actually give up on this game early as well. So with those things being the case, we definitely do like the under for this one. That is a big reason why we have seen over the last 5, Derek White has mostly gone on the under. It's due to the fact that now that they have clinched the playoffs, they are looking just to get by and try to rest their starters or their key players such as Derek White as much as they can. So, because of that, we definitely see that continuing on into this next game, especially against Brooklyn Nets, who are also still looking to tank. So definitely can be a very lopsided game here, and we could see Derek White get taken off early. Now, when we look at also both of these teams, Boston is a slow-paced team. Brooklyn Nets are a little bit faster, but we are expecting the pace to be ran by Boston Celtics. We are expecting Boston to slow down Brooklyn Nets, which should lead to a similar amount of volume that we usually see from Derek White. But the fact that we are expecting him to get taken out early, he could see less usage right there. Now, when we look at Derek White, especially against, the Brooklyn Nets over this season, we see a very, or somewhat of a very much same story due to the fact that Derek White faced off against them on 8th of November, and he actually had 14 points in that matchup. So it was, under that line there, and then faced off as well on the 13th of that same month, and he only had 9 points in that matchup as well. So significantly below his line on that second game, but both of those games he was significantly under, and that's a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. So we definitely see, Derek White having similar results coming into this next matchup. When we look at both of these teams, we also do see that the bookies also have a favorite for the under as well, and that works out in our favor there. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under for someone like Derek White. So Derek White, 18.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Jarrett Allen. So Jarrett Allen, great player, and this one is a fantastic one because Jarrett Allen has a great line, 4 points for 13.5, and this one actually is for less. Now we look at Jarrett Allen, we've seen a very interesting last 5 games as he has gone on the under in only 1 out of the last 5 games. Now they do face off against the LA Clippers in this next matchup. When we look at the last 5 games, we do see that they faced off against Charlotte Hornets on March 8th where he had 14 points. Moving on from that, on March 10th, faced off against Milwaukee Bucks where he had 11 points, then faced off against the Brooklyn Nets where he had 23 points. After that, Memphis Grizzlies on March 15th where he had 16 points, and then Orlando Magic to finalize it with 20 points on March 17th. So he actually has gone, under less, when it comes to, his last 5 games, and that's why his average over the last 5 is 16.8. But when we look at the matchup, we actually are expecting a under due to the fact that they face off against the LA Clippers or Los Angeles Clippers, and the Los Angeles Clippers do actually rank 5th when it comes to points allowed. On top of that, they also rank very high when it comes to restricting points to the center position. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for someone like Jarrett Allen. We are expecting Jarrett Allen to a little bit struggle in this matchup due to those reasons, since, on a per position basis, LA Clippers do a fantastic job. But on top of that, just overall defensively, we should see, Clippers do a great job defensively, especially against this Cleveland and Jarrett Allen team. Now, when we look at, also both of these teams as well, what we also have seen is that when it comes to the LA Clippers, they are a slow-paced team, and we are expecting them to slow down the pace of Jarrett Allen and the Cleveland Cavaliers as much as they can. So we could actually see less volume, less usage rate out there for someone like Jarrett Allen. And although we are going a little bit against the grain on this one, you do also have to realize it's matchups. That's what's most important. With a matchup like this, we should see Jarrett Allen go on the under on this one. Now, when we look at Jarrett Allen, especially when it comes to him facing off against the LA Clippers. Now, when it comes to the Clippers, obviously they haven't faced off against each other as, Jarrett Allen just has been away during those games against Clippers. But they faced off against him the year before. He was able to get 20 points, 17 points in those 2 games. Now, this is a very different Cleveland team. So, like I always mentioned, this isn't the greatest stats to actually go off, but I thought I'd just still show it anyway, just for that extra information. But I think, like we see, Cleveland Cavaliers are a very different team. Same with the Los Angeles Clippers, but I thought I'd just still show it. But when it comes to Jarrett Allen in total, when we look at what the bookies are saying, the bookies are actually agreeing with us. They have him favored for the under as well, so that should work out in our favor there. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for someone like Jarrett Allen, especially coming into this matchup. Now, when we also look at both of these teams, we see that the Cleveland Cavaliers do have a record of 56-11. They actually rank 1st in the Eastern Conference and have actually clinched the playoffs, which is fantastic for Cleveland there. But they are expected to kind of take it easy coming into the playoffs and trying to rest their starters as much as they can, but they are still looking to win. Los Angeles Clippers on the other side have a different story. They currently rank 8th in the Western Conference and have a record of 38-30. So completely different record there. We definitely see Clippers trying to do their best to try to get these wins in, as they all are looking to try to get into that great position and get into the NBA playoffs there. So Jarrett Allen, 13.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Al Horford. So Al Horford, great player, as we all know, from none other than the Boston Celtics. So he's done a fantastic job for the Boston Celtics so far this season, and Boston do have a great record. But when we look at Al Horford, first of all, we do see he is averaging 8.5 points, 5.9 rebounds, which actually ranks him 55th, and 2 assists, which actually ranks him 127th. On top of that, he's also shooting 41.9% from the field, which is great to see. So he's done a fantastic job with this Boston Celtics team, and the Boston Celtics have actually clinched the playoffs with a 49-19 record. So they've done a great job, and they do have themselves a fantastic matchup against the Brooklyn Nets. Now, when we look at Brooklyn Nets on the other side, we see a very different story, as Brooklyn Nets do rank 12th in the actual Eastern Conference, and on top of that, they also have a record of 23-45. So it is going to be a very, very interesting matchup coming into this one. Now, when we look at Brooklyn Nets, we do actually see that when it comes to points allowed, we do see that the Brooklyn Nets do actually surprisingly rank pretty well in this category, as they actually rank 9th. Now, moving on into assists allowed, we do see that the Nets also rank pretty decently, a bit more mid-tier in that category, but they do rank 17th. And then rebounds allowed, we do see that they rank 9th there as well. So they actually rank, pretty high in both points and rebounds. And for someone like Al Horford, who does have, a decent usage rate in the points and rebounds department, we actually do like the under for this situation here. A big reason being is that when it comes to Al Horford, he doesn't have the highest usage rate at any of these departments. We like to say that it plays very accidental sort of stats. So when he has the opportunity to score, he'll score. And if he is, available for a rebound, he will grab it. But I think, we tend to see a lot of other players in this Celtics team have a little bit more usage rate, and we definitely see that being a big thing coming into this game. Now, Al Horford is coming off some recent games where he had first against Miami, where he had 9 points, 5 assists, and 9 rebounds. Another game against Oklahoma City, where he had 18 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists. So when we look at Al Horford, another big reason why we do like the under for this situation is that we are expecting a blowout situation here. A big reason why we are expecting that is that Brooklyn Nets, like we mentioned, do rank 13th. So Brooklyn Nets, they are looking to tank. They are looking to get as low as possible to get the best draft pick possible. And we are expecting Brooklyn Nets to really kind of rest their starters, try to get their bench on as soon as possible, and pretty much attempt to lose the game on purpose. And if that is the case, we could see Boston Celtics, who also have already clinched a playoff spot, we could see them take their starters out early as well. Especially for someone like Al Horford, we can definitely see him sitting down pretty early due to the fact that they are going to try to restrict injuries, especially since they have already clinched playoff time. So if they do get a bit of a lead, we expect Brooklyn Nets to respond by taking off their starters, and we also expect Boston to respond by also just resting their starters as well. So we definitely could see that happen on this game, or in this game at that, and we definitely see Al Horford being able to go on the under due to the fact that Brooklyn Nets also do a great job at restricting points and rebounds to the center position. So definitely focus on those two categories for this one. I definitely would just focus on those two because those have the most value there. So keep an eye out for the line. If the line is too close to his averages, definitely look to go on the under. So definitely see a lot of great value there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about none other than Kyle Kuzma. So, Kyle Kuzma, great player, and now plays for his new team, which is the Milwaukee Bucks. So, Milwaukee Bucks have had themselves a pretty decent season so far. He's done a great job so far this season, but when we look at his averages, it is a mix of both his time with Bucks and Wizards, but he's been averaging 14.5 points, which actually ranks him 69th in the league. Also, 6.1 rebounds, which ranking him 50th, 2.3 assists, which actually ranks him 110th, and then 42.1% field goal percentage, which ranks him 116th. So he has done a fantastic job at being a great player for this Milwaukee Bucks team. Now, when we look at this Milwaukee Bucks team, we see that they currently rank 4th in the Eastern Conference. That can definitely change as they are very close in the Eastern Conference. They have a record of 38-29. So it is going to be a very interesting time for them. So they are going to continue to try to push and secure a playoff spot. Now, when it comes to the Bucks as well, they haven't actually clinched a playoff spot as well. So we are expecting them to play very hard. And then when we look on the other side, we also do see that they face off against the Golden State Warriors in this matchup. Now, the Warriors do rank 6th in the Western Conference with a record of 39-29. So very similar record there. And when it comes to the Warriors, they are also continuing to fight for a playoff spot as they haven't actually secured yet, clinched a playoff spot just as of yet. So for that reason, we do very much like, the under for this due to the fact that when we look at Golden State Warriors, we see that they do rank 8th when it comes to points allowed. Moving on into assists allowed, allowed, we see that they rank 12th, and then rebounds allowed, we do see the Warriors rank a little bit worse as they rank 15th. So Golden State Warriors do rank really decent in all three categories. However, the reason why we do like the under for this situation here, the reason is that the Golden State Warriors do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the small forward position. So we definitely see someone like Kuzma being able to take advantage of this and going on the under in this one. Now, when we look at Kuzma as well, what we also do see is that when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks, we also see that some of their matchups from previous games, we see that they faced off against OKC. Kuzma had 10 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound, so he was actually under on all of his lines there. He had another game where he had 8 points, 8 rebounds, however 0 assists, so under on 2 of those games. So when it comes to Kuzma, his usage rate out there has definitely been very, very unpredictable. He also had another game against Lakers where he had 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 0 assists in that one, so it was under on all of his lines there as well. So although Milwaukee Bucks have acquired a great player in Kuzma, his usage rate isn't as high as it used to be, especially in his Wizards days. And that's why we do very much like the under for this situation here. Warriors have also improved a lot ever since acquiring Jimmy Butler III, and it has definitely been a huge asset for the Warriors, and we definitely see that affecting Kuzma coming into this matchup. So with all those things being said, we do very much like the under for this one. Now, there isn't really one you need to focus on. I think points, rebounds, or assists, it really doesn't matter. I think Kuzma has the capability to go on the under in all three of them, due to the fact that Warriors do a great job defensively, and also Kuzma's usage rate has definitely been on the decline as of lately. So for that reason, we do very much like the under for this situation here. But like I always mentioned, keep an eye out for the line first. If the line is too close to his averages, definitely look to go on the under. So definitely see a lot of great value there. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Norman Powell. So Norman Powell, great player, as we all know, and he has done a fantastic job for his new team, which is none other than the actual, LA Clippers. He's been averaging 23.4 points, which is fantastic. On top of that, he also has been averaging 3.4 rebounds, 2.1 assists, while also shooting 49% from the field. So he's done a great job for the LA Clippers. And when it comes to the LA Clippers, we are also expecting a very, very good matchup because they face off against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it is going to be a very exciting time. And when it comes to the Cavaliers and Clippers, when we look at both of these teams, we see that the Cavaliers do actually have a record of 56-11. So Cavaliers have been on an absolute tear as of recent. As we all know, they have already clinched a playoff spot, running pretty much the Eastern Conference, which is great. And then when we look at the LA Clippers on the other side, we see that they are continuing to fight for a playoff spot, as they currently rank 8th, with a record of 38-30. So very interesting there. When it comes to their record, there's a little bit of a discrepancy there due to the fact that Cavaliers have been doing a little bit better, but Clippers still are in a very, very good position to make the playoffs, and we are expecting the Clippers to really come out in this game and give it their all and continue to push for a playoff spot. Now, when we look at someone like Norman Powell, what we also do see is that when we look at this Cavaliers matchup, we see that the Cavaliers, when it comes to points allowed, they do rank 9th. Moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 8th, and then rebounds allowed, we also do see that they rank 10th. So when it comes to Norman Powell, we do very much like the under for this situation here, due to the fact that Cleveland do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists. Another big reason for us in this situation here is due to the fact that when it actually comes to LA Clippers, a big reason why we do very much like the under is due to the fact that Cleveland also do a fantastic job at restricting those stats, points, rebounds, and assists to the guard position. So when we look at a per position basis, we also do see that, Norman Powell is a guard, and we definitely see or are expecting Cleveland to come out with their whole defense restricting guards as much as possible. Now, when we look at the pace for both of these teams, Clippers are a slow-paced team. Cleveland are also a pretty slow-paced team, and we are expecting, Cleveland to really slow down Clippers as much as possible. So we could actually see less volume, which means less pace for someone like Norman Powell in any of these departments. Now, I would definitely focus a little bit more on points and rebounds due to the fact that I highly doubt he may have a line come out for assists. It may be very unlikely due to the fact that it is very low, but I think points and rebounds is definitely going to be a lot of value there to go on the under, especially in this matchup. Now, we look at some of these recent games, we also do see a similar thing. They faced off against Charlotte. He only had 7 points, 0 assists, 1 rebound. Another game against LA Lakers, we only had 4 points, 1 assist, 1 rebound. And on top of that, he also had another game where he had 18 points, 2 assists, and 5 rebounds. So, we actually have seen him be a little bit on the lower side as of recent. Now, he did have some big games like Utah, where he had 41 points, which we do believe those are more just outlier games. Those happen once in a blue moon, but we think he should come back down to reality. And especially with a matchup like Cleveland Cavaliers, we definitely do like the under for this situation here. So for that reason, I definitely would keep an eye out for Norman Powell due to the fact that not only is he, expected to go on the under, but on top of that, I think the pace is definitely going to affect Norman Powell's game there. So keep an eye out for his line, focus on points and rebounds, and if the line is too close to his averages, definitely look to go on the under. Now, getting to the next player, we're going to be talking about Mark Williams. So as we all know, Mark Williams, great player from the Charlotte Hornets, was potentially supposed to be traded mid-season, but ended up going back to the Charlotte Hornets, and he's done a fantastic job for that team. He's been averaging 15.7 points, 10.1 rebounds, 2.4 assists, while also shooting 59.6% from the field. So he's done a fantastic job for none other than the Charlotte Hornets. And the Charlotte Hornets do have themselves a great matchup against none other than the actual Atlanta Hawks. So it is going to be a very exciting game between both of these teams. Now, when we look at both of these teams as well, both from the Eastern Conference, we do see that Charlotte Hornets do rank 14th in the Eastern Conference with a record of 17-50. So interesting there. And on top of that, when we look at the Hawks are in a pretty good playoff position. They currently rank 7th in the playoffs or in the Eastern Conference. So they are in the playoff picture with a record of 32-36. So it is going to be definitely a very, very interesting game here. Now, when we look at the Atlanta Hawks, we do see when it comes to points allowed, we see that they rank 27th. Moving on into assists allowed, we see that they rank 26th. And then rebounds allowed, we also do see that the Hawks rank 17th. So they rank very, very poor in all three categories, and that is a big reason why we do very much like the under for this situation here. When we look at someone like, someone like Mark Williams, we definitely see him being able to take advantage of this, especially in the points and rebounds department. Now, Mark Williams should be able to go on the over due to the fact that when we also look at the Atlanta Hawks, we do actually see that they do a poor job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the center position. So we definitely see someone like Mark Williams being able to take advantage of this and going on the over here. For that reason, I do definitely like the over due to the fact that when we also see Mark Williams does have a really good usage rate in both points and rebounds. We are also expecting a couple of injuries from the Charlotte Hornets team. Bridges is expected to be out for this game. LaMelo is also 50-50, and if we see those players out, it definitely could just add to Mark Williams' usage rate out there on the floor. Now, even if they do end up playing, we definitely don't see that affecting, Mark Williams too much. We definitely still see him or like him going for the over due to the fact that Hawks is just such a poorly defensive team. Hawks and Hornets, both very, very fast-paced teams, and for that reason, we are expecting a lot of pace in this game, which should lead to a lot more volume in the points, rebounds, and assist department. Now, when we look at Mark Williams' last couple of games, we have seen him put on quite a show. He's coming off a game where he had 15 rebounds and also 18 points, while also dishing out 7 assists. Another game where he had 14 points, 10 rebounds, and also 3 assists. And another one after that where he had 10 rebounds, 24 points, and also 2 assists. So his usage rate has remained high. Yes, some of the times he has missed the line, but overall his usage rate is there. And now that they do face off and against an easier defensive team, we should see someone like Mark Williams being able to take advantage of that and going on the over here.